this is a chart of price line. I like to always do studies. I think it's really important that we train our eyes and we train our mind on what to look for. Oftentimes, one of the best things is just a clean and simple pattern that everybody can see. That way they'll act on it too. Priceline earlier this year was just going sideways. And we can draw trend lines. You like to draw trend lines that connect at least 2, if not more points. And you can see right here, here, and here. You just connected it going across. It's a simple trend line. Also like to point out, we like to key on stocks that are above the 50-day, that's the green line, and we prefer them above the 20-day and the 8-day exponential moving average. That's what we're looking for. Price line's just going sideways. You can draw a trend line, and right here, it pushed through that trend line. And there's a great quote. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. Look at this day right here. When it pushed through that line, look at the volume pickup. They voted. Right here's your entry. And the stock just marches up the 8-period moving average. We let trends ride. You can take some on the way up, but you've got to keep some and let it work for you. I want to advance this though and show you something. This to me is very important. This day, the stock gapped up and came down and breached the 8-day by just a little bit. Watch this. The next day is just a quiet inside day, bouncing off the 8-day. The next day, it closes up just a little bit. Volume all 3 days is about the same. It's still above the 8-day. It gaps up and it reverses and closes down, but it is still above the 8-day. That's so important. It breaches the 8-day, but it closes above it. If you had sold some on the way up, you could weather this. The next day it goes up on a slight pickup in volume. Everything's fine. Hangs above the 8-day. It's starting to lift off the 8-day. It runs up and pulls back, but it's still riding the 8-day. You could ride that trend. But this day right here, the company had earnings and gapped down huge. Folks, I have to tell you, you've got to always know when the earnings are. If you bought it up here, that would hurt. Always be aware of earnings and let the trends ride. And again, I stress, be aware of earnings.